Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Play It Painted Live. And tonight we are once again starting late. Titled the show here, Almost Forgot. And that's because my wife actually almost forgot that we moved tonight. So I was watching the little guy. I hope she can help put him to sleep. Otherwise, this is going to be a very, very short show. Sounds like there's stuff going on upstairs. Anyway, tonight's episode is brought to you by Relic Knights again. So you can see, here's what we're working on tonight. This is from the Circe Speed Circuit faction. I have Betty and Lug here, and then I also have Suicide Queen. And I kind of did them in I call it Burning Wu-Tang flavor here, which is kind of a fiery orange. And actually, you can see Lug looks like he's mostly done just from the airbrush stuff. But obviously, Betty has lots of work to do here. So, a couple of announcements. One, Saugust. Are you getting ready for Saugust? I hope you guys are. This is going to be this Saturday at Addie's Games down in Poway. This is hosted by our own Phil Howard, who has done a fantastic job getting everything ready for this event. It is capped at 30 players, so try to get there early, or if you live in the area, maybe you want to pre-register down at Addie's Games. This is in Miramar, off Miramar Road in San Diego. So yeah, that's going to be going on this Saturday. Hope you guys are getting your Saga stuff ready. I have some Saga stuff ready, and so I've got some generic plastics here for Saga. A couple of things I need to do before totally ready to engage in Saugust. But yeah, really looking forward to it. Haven't played Saga in a while. This is going to be a rule set that we need to brush up on a bit. So anyway, really excited about that event. I think it's going to be quite cool. And yeah, any other announcements? So Saugust, this Saturday. Next Saturday is going to be Strategicon GameX. That's going to be the 12-person Relic Knights tournament. It's going to be 50 points, 3 rounds, 12 players max. So hope to see you there at Strategicon. Playing some Relic Knights, and online I posted some of the cool, at least one of the cool prizes that you could win at the Relic Knights tournament, and that is the custom playmat that Yuya helped design, and we put our little Play It Painted logo on it. It's Relic Knights art, and it's just a nice rubber playmat instead of using the the poster paper one that comes in the starter kits. You could use this really nice one. So that's it for announcements. Thanks everybody for joining. Welcome to Play It Painted Live. Once again, sorry for the late start here. So anyway, let me load some comments here, see if we have any, see if anybody is tuned in, or no comments yet. Okay, cool. We can go with no comments. That's fine. So the first thing I'm going to do here is on these two models, meaning the Lug and the bike here, I am going to apply an ink. And this is something I do specifically for yellow. Even though this airbrush yellow is nice and smooth, I want to give this just a hair, just a hint of sheen to it, to give it, kind of reinforce that cartoony look here. So I'm going to find my ink. If you are just joining the show, welcome to Play It Painted Live. Let us know what you are painting or what you should be painting. And that's pretty much it. So game color ink here, and I don't put this ink on my palette. I actually just put it on like the bottom of one of these things, because one, you don't need a lot, and two, on the palette, when it dries up, the ink will shrink a little bit when it's allowed to pool, and so it's not the cleanest application. So let me get my general use brush here. Been using a lot of Army Painter stuff. Their brushes, been using some of their washes are quite good. So yeah, get this going. But this is, I mean, this is a fun color. I'm half tempted to paint the rest of my Cersei Speed Circuit in this scheme because I really love the scheme. The only potential downside is I painted last month during the July painting challenge. I painted this Pace Robot, and this Pace Robot's a pink. So, you know, maybe I do a couple of units pink, or I do them all this fiery yellow, which I think is just freaking awesome looking. And I've always been a fan of this scheme. And you can actually see it on more than one of my sets for various games. So anyway, I'm going to come down here with this yellow ink. You can see it's already kind of enriching this fiery Wu-Tang, I call this scheme. And I don't know why, but I just love paintings like yellow. I think it goes back to my 40K days. And actually, hold on. I'll bring this in a little bit tighter here so we can see what's going on. Yeah, it goes back to my 40K days when I was playing Eldar, and you know, a lot of the schemes back then used yellow, and you know, yellow is a pain to paint, but you know, you learn tricks. You learn tricks from painting the colors that a lot of other painters might avoid, and you come to really enjoy it. Like, I really enjoy painting yellows and whites, and I just think it's a fantastic. When you pull off yellow, it's brilliant. And once you get used to it, I'm actually more comfortable painting, say, yellow than I am green, or brown for that matter. I don't know. It's just, you know, it's almost just becomes old hat painting yellow. But yeah, this ink is gonna kind of give it a richer look, because you know, when you airbrush stuff, it tends to look a little flat. That's the downside to airbrushing. I mean, it's the blends that you can get away with are phenomenal, but the downside is the rest of it can kind of look flat. So Lug here is almost done. There's not a whole lot left to do on the guy. Just coming in and painting in some of the darker parts of the model. I don't know if I'm going to paint all the stripes in black. I might, just because it's kind of cool looking. The yellow and the black is a really stark contrast, so I probably will. And inks are going to take a little while to dry, so I'm going to ink that, and then I'm going to ink this. This is Suicide Queen's bike. And yeah, I don't know, man. If I really like this, it might look cool to have the whole faction in this yellow. The only downside I can see is that a lot of my doctrine is this yellow, and you know, I would like to have some differentiation between the factions in my set, my collection. All right. So there we go. I'm going to just let that dry for a bit, and let that ink dry out. And now we're gonna do some detail work. So we're gonna work on Suicide Queen, and we're gonna work on Betty. And I'm gonna get my Diet Coke, which is right behind me. They tell you not to drink caffeine while you're painting because your hand gets shakier. And that's true, but my hand shakes a little bit anyway, so what are you going to do? Let me load comments here. Once again, thanks for joining the show, guys. Let me know in the comments what you're painting or what you should be painting. We've got 4 comments here. Hey man, from Cameron, what's up, dude? Saw some photos from your game the other day with Chris. Um, so that looked fun. Let's see. In Cameron, you have a question. How much Relic Knights does Monstore have so far? The last time I checked, they have one, at least one of each faction starter. They had at least one of each Relic Knight, and then they've got one, at least one, maybe two small boxes for each faction. So when I say small box, I'm talking about stuff like this. So if you want with what Monstore has, chances are you can do it. It depends on what people have been buying there lately. I'll be honest with you, I haven't been over to Monstore in almost, I want to say 3 weeks now. My Sundays are just terrible, dude. So, Sundays for me might go down to like a once a month, if that thing. So really Tuesday has been my thing, and that's been at CQ. So anyway, thanks for the question. Troy Perez, I'm about to work on my Cersei too. Mine is not painted as nice, but it's better than bare plastic. I agree, yellow is way easier to paint if you have an airbrush. Yes, yellow is way easier to paint if you have an airbrush. I did used to paint lots and lots of yellow without an airbrush. I think I did a video on that before, painting yellow, back when I was painting some 10 Thunders stuff for Malifaux. And I painted a lot of that stuff yellow. And I also painted some Dystopian Legion stuff yellow as well. All right, Corey posts, I'm painting Saga again. So I know Corey's getting geared up to attend Saugust, which is awesome. Looking forward to that, man. I think that's going to be a fun event. And just can't wait to meet up with everybody and play a game that I think we need to keep in the rotation. Saga is a very fun game. We talked about it on this show. I think a lot of people like Saga and kind of realize that it may not be your every week game, but it's still a game that's great, and you want to keep in the lineup. I would say at least keep one Saga army, split a starter with 4 of your friends, and just break up the battle boards and do it that way. It's a fairly inexpensive game. The expensive part is the dice, obviously. So, yeah. All right. So, I'm going to do eyes. So, I'm going to go out of frame, which should surprise 0 people that watch this show. I actually do go out of frame quite a bit, and it has to do with how my camera is set up. But I'm going to try to keep it. I'm going to try to keep a broad frame here just so that you might be able to see a little bit what I'm doing. But what I'm about to do is not rocket science. It's just dotting in some eyes. The part that's going to take long is actually the flesh. So I'll get to that in a minute. I need to get a brush with a good tip, which I know I have because I was just using one. That one's... Oh, here, let's discuss that for a minute. Okay, so, that one's way small. This is to my point exactly. Okay. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to take these the tip guards off these brushes. So, you guys probably know this, the guys that are watching right now, but the key with like painting eyes or really fine detail is you could go with super fine brushes, really tiny brushes. This is a 000 Winsor Newton, and you can see the little, the fine point on that. And this one I think is a 0 or a 00 Winsor Newton. You can see how fine the point is on that. These are both okay for painting eyes, but one of the great myths is that you really need a small, tiny brush to paint eyes. That's not really true. What you need is a brush that can hold a really fine point. And in fact, a lot of times brushes this small work against you when you're painting eyes because they collect so little paint that they will dry on the brush and it won't do anything for you. So So what I do when I'm doing eyes is I look for the largest brush that will hold the point that I need. And this is a, I'm going to say this is a 1, Winsor Newton 1. But I painted eyes with, you know, a Winsor Newton 3 before. As long as the brush can hold a good point. And if you have a brush that can hold a good point, then you treat that like, you know, the hottest woman in your life, and you baby that brush, and you clean it often, and you store it and make sure that the tip is nice and perfect every single time. And sometimes you only use it for eyes. This one actually I use for eyes and face stuff, but it holds a nice tip here. And you can see I'm gonna go in right now and just paint in the entirety of the orbit on Suicide Queen's eyes. So I'm going to paint in that black line. That's really just going to form the back of the eye. For female models, when I come back in and put the white in the eye, I will actually leave more of the black showing, because, you know, to kind of give them that like eyeshadow or eyeliner look. So here's Suicide Queen. If you can't make out what's going on screen, don't worry about it. It's just a couple of black dots. I'm going to do that for Betty too. Okay, so same thing. Now when you dip the paint in your thinned, when you dip your brush in your thin paint, and please thin your paint, it's just my opinion and opinion of a lot of other guys, thin your paints. You want to tap your brush onto something, get rid of excess moisture. So a lot of people might use a paper towel. I just use an actual towel that doesn't leave lint on my brush. So, all right, so there we go. A couple of black dots in the eyes. Give that a second to dry. And these are bigger, cartoonier eyes than you might see in something like, well, here is. This is a Helldorado model that I started, man, it must have been a couple of weeks ago that I didn't finish, because, you know, I just did a little bit of work on her, and I was like, I'm not going to finish her because I'm working on Relic Knights. I will get back to working on her at some point, because that's Alize, who's a fantastic model. By the way, shout out to Helldorado, I'm sorry, Total Command, the Helldorado Hobbycast. This is hosted by Dave Leach and Grayson and Jill up in Canada. I listened to their episode 4. No Jill on the episode, which was kind of interesting. I guess she was gone for a bit, but Grayson and Dave covered a Helldorado game that they had, and it was a fantastic game, salvage game. I learned a lot more about this particular model, because this model did quite well for Grayson. So I may paint her up and include her in one of my companies as well, and see how she does. She's an Infernalist model, which I would think people who play Lost and want to run Infernalist, you know, summon Lemures, might be interested in that model. So anyway, Cameron, cool man. Been looking to get into some Relic Knights. Don't know how many games I'd get in with them besides Chris. You always seem to be gaming on a day I work. Yeah, it's true. I mean, the way your schedule and our schedule, I would think, you know, any game that you're going to be interested in playing, you're really going to want to, you know, game with Chris, or expect to game with, you know, him for the most part, and maybe catch us once in a while for a game. And I say us in a kind of a loose sense. Again, I'm not. Monstor has been a difficult thing for me to maintain on a regular basis. I try to get out there when I can, but these days it's been mainly Tuesdays for me. I thought I will talk a little bit about how Tactical Tuesdays is working out, though, because, you know, it's kind of worth, I guess, recapping for you guys. We talked a little bit about this last week with Corey in the Relic Knights episode. You know, the rise of Relic Knights in this area, and, you know, how people are taking to it initially. So, yeah, I had to move my night to Tuesday night. And that has to do with my wife's upcoming schedule, and being able to watch my son after work. And so with her going back to work, I had to move my my regular gaming night over to Tuesday, and that worked out a little bit better for CQ anyways, because as it turns out, that's Tactical Tuesdays, which is about their tabletop miniature games and skirmish games. So I'm actually a better fit moving over to Tuesday for them. So I moved over to Tuesday at the same time that I really debuted Relic Knights at my LGS, and it was interesting because when the first Tuesday that I came over there, I advertised it a little bit on Comic Quest, their Facebook group for Tactical Tuesdays, which is actually labeled War Machine Hordes because that's the main game that they have there on Tuesdays. But according to the shop owners, they're saying no, treat that as your Tactical Tuesday group. So go ahead and post your Ninja Division related stuff there, and so that's what I've been doing. I introduced myself to that group and said, hey, I'm going to be showing up. I'm your Ninja Corps representative, and I'm going to show up and bring Relic Knights and some of the other Ninja games that I really enjoy, like Helldorado. And it was cool. There were people there that already had some interest in Helldorado and wanted to learn a little bit about Relic Knights. So my first Tactical Tuesday, it was cool. People were kind of waiting around for me to break out Relic Knights because they were curious. The Kickstarter just launched, so it's got that ooh shiny effect going for it right now. By the way, I am going to drop in some blue eyes, some blue backdrop eyes. So I'm going to use this game color Electric Blue just to give me a little bit of a background here, and this is going to cover most of the white area. So I had to interrupt my story to go back into the painting. But anyway, so yeah, first Tactical Tuesday, brought Relic Knights, brought Helldorado, and had a guy there that I actually ran demos for at Comic-Con, and he knew about Tactical Tuesdays, and he's a War Machine player who was also interested in these two games. So as it turns out, it's a pretty good fit. And even though you might say that we're cannibalizing that crowd a little bit, and actually I might be the guy to say that normally, I feel it's okay because these guys have been playing War Machine for a while. The idea is not to replace their main game, to change it up and bring them something that that maybe they could carry as a side game, and try to bring in some fresh blood to Tuesdays, because I had a few people follow me over to Tactical Tuesdays, so that's cool. So that's the idea, get some more traction there, and those players can synergize with some of the other game systems too, like Warma Hordes or what else are we playing Tactical Tuesdays? Warma Hordes. Right now, it's mostly Warma Hordes and Relic Knights, some Helldorado, and who knows from there. We might play some SDE too. Might play some SDE Arena. But yeah, so that's been going on the past couple weeks. I show up, I bring Relic Knights, I bring Helldorado, get a small group of people playing and interested, and the hard thing to do, and I blame myself partially for this. One of the things that happens though is people are a little bit slow to actually buy into something, especially when they know that I'm a regular presence and that they'll have access to fully painted models most of the time. And so what I've been trying to do is just kind of wean people that have been gaming with me and borrowing my models, kind of have to wean them off my models so that they can start to build their own force. And there's already a couple guys that are like, yeah, your stuff is cool, but I want to add this and this and this, so they're going to build their own force. So there you go. That's kind of nice. Okay, so just dotting an I here for Betty. So yeah, that's how Tactical Tuesdays has been. Some of the guys show up and they play Relic Knights, or they claim to play Relic Knights, and I call them Theory Knights, which is kind of funny. So they'll show up and they don't actually ever make it to the table. They just flip through the book and go over stats and argue with each other about what's the better model to take and all this stuff, which is okay, I guess. But I guess you can get trapped in that. You can get stuck in that mode and then never actually get together your cadre or start playing. And to each his own. I mean, if you showed up on a Tactical Tuesday and you talked about the models that you want to get and how good this stuff is in theory, and you never play, and then you walk. Then at the end of the night, you pack your stuff up and you get back in your car and you go home and you say, "Hey, that was fun. Can't wait to do it next week." Then you know what? More power to you. That's cool. I just, I guess I'm more interested in actually getting these models built and painted and put down on the table so that I can play them. And so, anyway, I don't know. Do you guys have theory nights or theory hammer or theory machine guys that just show up and talk theory? By the way, I'm not making fun of these guys. I think that what they do actually is somewhat beneficial because they help you think about things think about the game maybe a little bit more deeply than you might normally be thinking. The only time it becomes a problem is when you're trying to play a game and they're disruptive to that game. When they're trying to stop you and ask questions and debate things, and it's not even their game. They're just like thwarting another game, and so that's what you have to. But otherwise, if they're just discussing the game and the finer points of the game and that kind of thing, I think it's fine. And your games can be kind of interrupted by a lot of different things anyway. This is just one of those things. So anyway, what do you guys think about the whole theory nights or anything like that? A couple of the comments. Okay. Looks like Jose hopped on. I also learned why I need an Infernalist for my Westerners list. Yes. Yeah, I can't wait to get out and play some more Helldorado because it's very fun. I still love Helldorado. Right now, though, I'm just like knee deep in all these in painting all this Relic Knights, and frankly, it's been a blast. I love painting these models, but I gotta admit to you guys, I'm still a metal guy. I still love metal models, and everybody has their preferences. Some people really love plastics. I really love models. Cypher indicated that they have no plans to switch over to plastic, and I applaud them for that. It makes it difficult for Cypher to be like a large volume and putting out some quality games, and if they have a small following, I think they're fine with that. But I mean, I'm a rabid Helldorado fan, and I still love that game, and one of these Tactical Tuesdays, I plan on bringing it back. I always carry it on me anyway, just in case, because there are a few people at CQ that play Helldorado, and for example, Mark plays Helldorado, and Jose, you play Helldorado, so I always keep some on me in case I get that game in, because I love that game. Right now, though, I'm really enjoying Relic Knights, and so for Tactical Tuesdays, so far, everything has been a learning game. I show up and I set up a couple of tables, and I've been loaning out the models that you guys have seen online here that I've been painting, and then I'll jump in and play a little bit myself. For the most part, everything at this stage, everything is a learning game. So we're not we don't know enough about the game to really be like playing heavily competitive, or at least I'm not playing it terribly seriously. But I can see that at some point people are going to pick up and do that. And again, that's not bad in of itself. And that's a play. People are going to do that with Relic Knights because Relic Knights is a deep system, and people will want to explore that system, and people will want to compete in that system. So I think that's totally fine. It will be interesting to see what type of player base develops around the game, because the game has a few areas of appeal. It can appeal to my painting. Does she? I think she's not supposed to have a flesh-colored belly. No, it is orange. I gotta clean this off, or touch it up. I think I can do that too. So yeah, it will be interesting because the game attracts anime fans and turns off some of your more serious quote-unquote gamers. But even the serious gamers will say, "Oh man, I don't like the aesthetic of the game, but I love the mechanics," and they wanna learn more about the game from a mechanic standpoint, and that's pretty cool. If they want to do that, that's awesome. Some of the guys are talking about maybe proxying or avoiding some of the I guess the more what's the word I'm looking for? The more risque models, the more adult themed models, and to each their own. That they're not comfortable painting that model or keeping this model, then more power to them. So yeah, I'm curious to see what type of actual player base develops, because right now there's a lot of onlookers. You've got a lot of people that are collecting their Kickstarters and just starting to learn how to play them, and then you've got people that are fully on board and discovering that they're enjoying the game more and more as they learn about it. As for me, I'm still learning the game, but everything so far is pointing me to this is going to be one of your main games. This is going to be a game that you're going to want to play very, very often, and you're going to enjoy painting and collecting. So painting, collecting, and teaching. So far, that's how I feel about the game, and I'm just looking forward to seeing more events, not just my own events, not just Play It Painted events, but even like other Ninja Corps in the area. I know Corey mentioned last weekend that he's going to be scheduling a Relic Knights Day at Paradise Games, which is in Vista, and this is going to be at the end of September. So I'm trying to keep my calendar clear so that I can attend that, because I think that should be a really good event, and really looking forward to it. Okay. So this is, by the way, I'm into the bottom coat of the skin. So I'm in a Game Color Deep Skin Tone. So my plan for Suicide Queen is she's not going to be all that orange. It's just right now that was the easy color to do for her. I need to see. She kind of has. Okay, so she kind of has exposed boobage. Like she's a high cleavage shot up here. So just trying to find out where the flesh actually is, because sometimes when you airbrush stuff, or sometimes plastic may obscure some of these details, and there's really, really fine detail on this model. So I want to know where I'm going before I start swapping colors and start blending up. Okay. So once again, if you're just joining the show, welcome to Play It Painted Live. Let us know what you're painting or what you should be painting. We may be in for kind of a quiet night tonight. So if you guys wanted to hop on, if you have something specific to talk about, that would be fantastic. If not, I'm going to ask that we just kind of relax and keep a quiet show. If you have a specific event that you want to talk about, or if you want to maybe ask some specific questions about Relic Knights or painting or whatever, you can either do that in the comments, or if you have, if you feel you have something that will carry a discussion, feel free to hop on. So, speaking of live show and discussion and all that stuff, I am looking for guests. So I am looking for, just so you know, we are looking for people to hop on the show for, like not so much an interview, but even though I will be asking them questions, this is more of a chance for you to just kind of tell us about yourself, what you're working on, what game systems or game events you might be working on, because that's the kind of stuff I want to know about. I may have a couple of questions about your podcast or your YouTube channel or your website, but I mean ultimately that should be that can also be covered in a smaller segment. So just bear that in mind. But yeah, moving forward, we are looking at trying to get some more guests on this show, some people to talk to. I may have a couple of things lined up here in the very near future, so we'll see. I'm going to reload comments here and see if you guys have any other thoughts to share with me, and we'll just kind of keep it, wow, quiet. Let's see. Jose says, so far I like Relic Knights, the models are awesome. Yes, I also really like Relic Knights. Tuesday's one of my days off, so whenever you can head out here for a demo day at Monster, that would work if your schedule permits. Yeah, it would have to be. I work in the day, so it would have to be like an evening thing for me to drive out to Monster on a Tuesday. So I don't know. I'm not opposed to that. We might be able to work something out. But yeah, Tuesdays is looks like that's going to be my normal day, at least for the foreseeable future here. Let's see. I think that's it so far. So, okay. So the next stage in the flesh here, I've added some Vallejo model color basic skin tone. And now I'm going to start to add the actual, what I consider to be the actual base coat for the flesh. So this is, again, for female models, this is going to be kind of a fair color here. And in fact, I can also do this for the Alizé model. Because why not? We're painting girly girls, let's paint girly girls. Man, I love Cersei. A lot of people are saying like the faces on these models lack detail, and they're smooth faces. And my response to that is yes and no. I mean, these are anime models, so the features are going to be quite smooth. You're going to have a larger area for which to paint in eyes, and the rest of it, I don't know what you can make out here for Betty's face. Let me try to zoom in here, or at least get some focus. No, you can't really make out too much, but there's not a lot of features there. There is, on this particular model, there is a definable nose and a more prominent mouth than some of the other models. I would say some of the more obscured facial details on models are things like the purifiers for Shattered Sword. Not a whole lot going on with the faces there, so you have to freehand a little bit. And for Doctrine, the Red Riding Hood chick Delphine, that can be a challenging one for people. I know a lot of people say that they can't make her look great because they don't know what to do with her teeny tiny features and smooth contours of her face. So I can kind of see that. But no, these look great. There's not much to complain about for Betty or for Suicide Queen. They both look pretty characterful. Actually, if I'm going to complain, it's this mold line that's just popped up. You will get those on Relic Knights, and it might get frustrating, no lie. So, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you, oh yeah, everything's great and not to worry, because you will run into stuff like mold lines. Um, it would be nice if these were done in the harder plastic moving forward, because then I think the harder plastic is much easier to clean up and easier to work with. The downside to the harder plastic is your models will come in more pieces. So you guys that come from Privateer are used to some of this plastic, this Restic type stuff, which is good for some models. There is some cleanup involved in it, and there can be times where it's frustrating. All right, so there's one. So far that's been my experience with Relic Knights. Now I can't even pick a faction. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm up to, this is going to be my 5.5 faction actually, because I have the Void Knight too, and I've been playing a couple of games with the Void Knight. But this is my 5th full faction is Cersei. So I have right now, I've got everything short of Corsairs. I don't own Corsairs. I wanted to. Thought I had a deal going for Corsairs, and that deal fell through. But I'll probably eventually, you know, if I really die hard about this game, I'll probably go back and collect some Corsairs. Now that said, I can't pick a faction because so far I'm really enjoying everything that I've been playing so far. Last night I played Shattered Sword for the first time. Because the last time I brought them to the store, their debut at the store, somebody had borrowed them. And same with Black Diamond. This was their debut at CQ. And I had 2 players playing Black Diamond, which allowed me to figure out that I actually have more than 100 playable points of Black Diamond. So but what I'm saying is, so far, I have enjoyed just about every playstyle that I played, with maybe the exception of No Empire. It's just not my flavor. The aesthetic isn't quite as cool to me. You know, they are space Oni, which is kind of awesome, but you know, in general, I prefer these like more humanoid, human-sized type of factions. So we'll just leave it at that. But yeah, no doesn't really strike me as being terribly interesting. Though I know a lot of people that like the beat stick style faction, and I would not begrudge you for going that way. But other than that, man, Doctrine was fantastic. I love the whole Esper manipulation that is available to that whole faction. Shattered Sword is kind of a tanky faction. They have a lot of high armor. They're kind of slow, but they've got some pretty decent defensive tech. So yeah, I tend to think of them as more of like a defensive style army, defensive attrition style army, and they have a fantastic aesthetic. So I was originally thinking of going Shattered Sword, and I may actually end up going Shattered Sword as my main faction. I just need to play more games with all this stuff and figure out what's really for me. Then you have this group here, Cersei, also in the running for possible main faction for me. And these guys are kind of the opposite. They're fast, they're light armored, they're tricky, maneuverable, and I really like that playstyle as well. That playstyle I think appeals to your average competitive gamer. Competitive gamers tend to like highly mobile armies because it allows them to zero in and focus on objectives. And really, this game is about achieving objectives. So Cersei is going to do well in all those movement-based strategies. They're kind of pillow-fisted though, and they're kind of squishy. So you have to take care when you're using them. Then you have Black Diamond, which is kind of a ranged faction. They've got lots of range. They've got decent armor. Leopold Magnus, their questing knight, has some really tricksy, devious stuff he can do to steal Esper from people. So they're a combat-oriented faction, but instead of like No being the melee faction, this is really Black Diamond is really the shooting style faction. So yeah. Then you have we talked about No right there just for a second. We talked about Shattered Sword. We talked about Black Diamond. We talked about Doctrine. So what's left is the Corsairs. Now, I don't really know a whole lot about the Corsairs. I would recommend if you want to learn more about that faction. I know Corey plays them, and my brother is playing Corsairs, so he might be another person that you can ask about the Corsairs. From what I can tell, they seem kind of like a hodgepodge style army. They have a lot of powerful individuals in that army, but they don't tend to special as a whole. It's difficult to define what they actually specialize in, if anything. They almost specialize in their diversity, because they have some of those individual models are good for combat. Some of them are good for speed. Some of them have different kinds of shenanigans. So yeah, it just really kind of depends on what your build is. And there's a lot of variability in the build, even with such a small selection of the models currently available in the game. So, okay. So base code is now down. I'm going to reload some comments here real quick. Again, if you are interested in hopping on the show, I can totally do that. That's fine. If not, we're just going to chill here and paint, because that's what we're here for. A couple more comments coming in. Okay, cool, man. Been looking. Oh, okay, I already did that. Been looking into some Relic Knights. Don't know how many. Okay. Shattered Sword has my attention. Yeah, Shattered Sword they're a tanky faction, Cameron. The one thing I would say though is from a model's perspective, the Purifiers leave much to be desired in terms of the quality of the detail on those models. And Swordsworn sometimes have some weird mold lines too. So just a couple things to be looking out for. Anything else? Okay. Yes, I've encountered a Theory Machiner. They explain to me what their big cool thing is, then I play them and totally dismantle their plans. Some are cool, and others are dicks. Man, if it's not too broad, can you go over each Relic Knights faction fluff playstyle? Well, I went over playstyle really, really superficially. And I'll be honest with you, that's about what I know. I'm still looking at a lot of the fluff. The fluff actually is surprisingly decent. I did not think a game that kind of cartoony, with this kind of cartoony aesthetic, would take its fluff writing all that seriously, but it's actually pretty good. And as far as the playstyle stuff, we went over that, and I wish I could tell you more, because I'm still learning. When I do the deep dive, I think I am gonna focus in on these two factions, Shattered Sword and Cersei, because I've got a lot of Cersei, and I want to run a couple different builds. Both knights appeal to me, Malia and Suicide Queen, and then I'm gonna go pick up. At some point, I will pick up a starter so that I can try out Marie Claude. Kevin has told me a few things about Marie Claude kind of being kind of an area control type of knight, whereas Suicide Queen is more of almost plays more like a Corsair in her randomness, and then you have Malia, who is just absolutely balls to the wall speed. Okay, so Sepia Wash coming down, and in fact, once the Sepia Wash goes down, I can now mount these other two models, meaning my Eldorado model and Betty. So that's right. I was not originally planning on painting Eldorado tonight, and I don't know if I'll even finish these all of these models. but I gotta paint some Helldorado, man. I've been missing metal. I love the range. I'm super fanboy for Helldorado, and still love you, Helldorado. Still holding out. Want to play more games of Helldorado, and I really think it's a fantastic skirmish system that just doesn't quite get its dues. And Jose, we got to get in the game, man, because you know how much I love my Helldorado, and we're gonna. Maybe I'll work on another faction that we can discover how it plays. What I really need to do though is get my Tuesday night CQ to a point where the gaming is stabilized a bit, and people are showing up and hopefully not just looking for me to run games for them, but they're looking to play each other in Relic Knights. So maybe I skip a week or two. Maybe I do that and let people kind of fend for themselves and see what happens. See if people pick up the ball, because that's what you want. You want folks to come back and fend for themselves. So, okay, so I'm going to let that wash dry for a little bit. I'll reload some comments here. Once again, thanks everybody who's watching Play It Painted Live. Let us know what you're painting or what you should be painting. We're just kind of doing a relaxy-taxy evening tonight, painting up some Relic Knights, and hope you guys are enjoying this. I'm really already having fun painting these Circe Speed Circuit. Okay, Cameron, I'm out of here. Let's take it easy. See you, Cameron. We'll talk later. Yeah, once again, sorry for the late start. It's a new schedule. My wife forgot. And bless her heart, when she found out that this is the live feed night, she was like, no, go ahead and go. Do your show. So, gotta love her and the support that she has for us here for our teeny tiny little show. So I'm going to start mounting the models now. So I'm going to mount this. And I'm going to mount lug. Looks like the ink is drying. You can see that it's left a sheen, but we want that. We want a little bit of a sheen on him. But there you go. Pretty cool. And I'm going to mount this bike. So plan is, I'm just going to jump between these models. I don't know what I'll actually be able to finish tonight. We'll see. Probably not the Helldorado model, sadly, but we'll keep going. All right, so there's that. These are getting much drier. So now that wash is starting to dry, I'm going to come back in right at the same color I was at and actually use it as the first highlight. So again, female model, anime model, you want to cover most of the exposed areas. So that's what I'm going to do. Cover most of the exposed areas. Leave just a little bit of shadow there where the hair meets the face, right here below the chin. I'm going to leave the mouth right now. Leave that kind of darker because I'm actually going to come back in and hit that with a little bit of lipstick. And this is Suicide Queen, so a little bit of eyeshadow too I'll put in. Aesthetically, I'd have to say Circe has my vote. The one thing holding me, well, there's a couple reasons why I'm not 100% on Circe. One of them is I know Mark and Kevin are interested in Circe, and if they're going to play it as their main, I should probably play something different, considering that they're probably going to be regular opponents of mine. So there's that. And two, the speed playstyle is something that I'm very, very comfortable with. And one of the things I like to do with gaming is force myself out of my comfort zone. So So I try to avoid stuff that I'm already that already seems like it's going to suit me, because I want to discover the other factions as well. Even if I end up saying, okay, I really do like Cersei and they're going to be my main faction, I still need to spend some time with all these other factions that I own, so that so that I have a second faction that I can play when I am playing Kevin or Mark. And I'm really leaning towards that being Shattered Sword, because Shattered Sword is such an opposite playstyle to Cersei here, and it is out of my comfort zone, because I'm not 100% comfortable with like kind of slow and tanky as opposed to fast and squishy. Alright, so here's the first layer of skin going down. So this is the actual base coat going down for Suicide Queen. Actually need a little bit more water. You need this skin here to be fairly smooth. There's something really bugging me here too, so hold on 1 minute while I take care of it. But seriously though, I've really enjoyed every single game of Relic Knights so far, and all the different playstyles, and getting to know the game a little bit better. It's been a lot of fun. Okay, just create a little crust there because I had to knock out just some flash that was hanging out. Put a little bit more water in my skin mix, because you want the skin to look nice and smooth. Shoot. Yeah, I really did leave a little crust there. Try to get rid of it. Okay. There we go. And I'll just smooth it out with the paint. One nice thing is when you've got a really nice thin down paint, is that it will flow out over crusty areas and help cover up some of those mistakes. Alright, so there's that. Suicide Queen strikes me as kind of a goth chick. Goth alternative chick, and they tend to be very fair-skinned. So I am going to go pretty light on her skin. Plus, it's going to end up being a nice contrast here with the rest of her outfit. I think she's wearing jeans, or no, she has like blackish, purplish pants, and so I'm going to leave her top orange, and then I may go like a black on the pants. So there we go. Great little model though, this Suicide Queen. Really fun. Can't wait to try her out. Should be a blast. So anyway, so we're getting ready for Saugust, obviously, and after that, the next weekend, Strategicon, running a tournament there. And then after that, it's going to be open for a while. I think we'll be kind of in a more relaxed mode, and we can play our quote-unquote off-season games. We can play some of the other games that we don't support either officially or at cons, but we can just enjoy the games. Things like what's interesting me right now, Star Trek, the Star Trek Attack Wing. I want to try that because it just sounds like fun. So I think Phil is going to try to set up a time for us to try that out. Anything else that sounds fun right now? I don't know. There's just so many games out there. I'll be honest with you. I don't want to buy anything because all my I need to stick to the Ninja games because I support the games and they're easier. It's easier for me to find stuff either using my Ninja points or discounts or anything like that. So it makes the most sense for me to just sort of keep my money within those systems. But that doesn't mean I'm not opposed to playing other systems. I do kind of need to avoid leagues for a while, and that's one of the main reasons why I'm not playing in any of the current the Mantic leagues or anything like that. I mean, granted that stuff Mantic doesn't appeal to me, but I am trying to avoid leagues because it's a time commitment and you can feel, if you're not 100% about that game, you can feel trapped in a league. So off season, I want to try a couple of other games. We still have events planned for Play It Painted. We're looking at some fall and winter events, Ninja and non-Ninja related. So we still have that going on. So yeah, I don't know. It's and then we have some other side projects too. I don't know if you guys have been watching, but Paul's already starting to look at some artwork for a Play It Painted themed energy deck. It's not just about putting the label on stuff. I mean, it's cool that we have a label now that's not totally tied in with one game or one company, like that previous club that we had. It's cool that we're now a separate entity, and we're gonna make a few Play It Painted branded stuff. But we're not gonna make stuff unless we feel that we can offer a little bit more to somebody who would be interested in buying, or even people that win stuff as a consequence of attending our events. So we look at potentially minor improvements and stuff, just tweaks to help the people that regularly play the game enjoy them a little bit more easily. So I hope it works out that way, because that's definitely the intent behind it. Well, Betty's got a little bit of a cleavage going on here. I shouldn't be surprised by that because this is freaking Relic Knights. So, but it's kind of cool. Good on you, Betty. Okay. Where's that? I'm gonna get this all set up. And then I'm going to load comments here as soon as this coat is down. I thought she had an exposed midriff, but no, as it turns out, that's just her bodysuit. And I'll have to touch that up. Not the end of the world, because I have to touch up a few different other places on her bodysuit here. Betty's a pretty sweet model, though. I love the style. This is a spanner with a gun on the end of it. Kind of a fan of that. All right. Reload comments. Okay. And we went over. Oh, Troy Price. I managed to get rid of a lot of debt through selling off through the Preach Kickstarter. I know, I'm actually selling mine too. After I paid down a few things, I'm gonna start painting up and eventually demoing Drop Zone. Okay, Drop Zone Commander. Okay, cool. I think it's a good time to get into it as they're releasing new plastic starters, and there's a good pre-painted plastic board coming out for it soon. May even try and become one of their game promoter people. That's cool, man. I love it when people they get so inspired by a game that they step up a game or even sometimes a company, that they step up and volunteer for that company. And I know, I mean, you guys know that the experience isn't always great, and sometimes you get a little too close to a company, and you end up with a bad experience. But that said, I think overall, volunteering is a great thing. It is a thankless job a lot of times. Sometimes you even take flack for volunteering. Sometimes it feels like you take flack when you sign up for something because your friends are like, "Why are you volunteering for that?" Then you run stuff and people come and they will. I'm not trying to dissuade you, Troy, by the way, but just kind of relaying here some of the pitfalls in being a volunteer. So you set up stuff and people kind of take you for granted, especially if you're doing it regularly and providing them with stuff. And then the worst thing you can do is quit. Like when you quit the game, then people show up and go, "Hey, how come you're not doing it anymore?" The same people that were vocal about you being running the games in the first place. So it can get frustrating at times, but it can also be super, super satisfying. When you see that moment kind of click for somebody and they really get into a game and they start promoting the game. I think that's a big win. When you've got somebody that really enjoys your game, the game that you showed them, and they step up and they start promoting that game, I think that's an awesome place, and it's exciting. So yeah, kudos to you, man. If you're gonna do that, I think that's great. I think that is fantastic. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so now we're really at the highlight phase for these models. I need to get there's something on this face here that I need to remove. There we go. So we're at the highlight phase for these models, and it's at this point that I'll come in and drop the makeup of the model. So I'm talking eyeshadow and lipstick, and I'm just gonna keep it simple for these 3 models and do it the same way for each model. So we're gonna go with kind of a pinkish lipstick. So I'm gonna go with this Sunset Red. It's gonna be diluted and thinned with our current Flesh mix. So just a little drop of Sunset Red, tiny little drop of water. I need more water. Let's fix that. Put more water in here. Okay, and then I'm going to actually just dip my brush into this Flesh mix and then into that Sunset Red. It's going to make kind of a bubblegum pink. Not a hot pink, but a bubblegum pink, and it looks more natural against the skin. So we're going to do that. And I'm going to do that here on Suicide Queen. Once again, thanks guys for joining and watching Play It Painted Live. Let us know what you're painting or what you should be painting. So I'm going to do Suicide Queen's mouth here. Now when you're painting lips, there's 2 ways you can do it. You can either try to keep the lips separate, the top and the bottom lip, or you can just paint it all as kind of one, paint it together as one structure. One of the main things to note about painting lips is do not paint the lower lip too thick, and don't paint the lower lip wider than the upper lip. The lower lip should be like half the width of the upper lip. This model actually, she has a more defined lip here, so there we go. And she's really pale. I may actually take her skin out even further. And then finally Betty. I'm telling you, I really like the Betty model. There we go. So almost like they're grinning. So you make the top a little bit wider than the bottom. There you go. And now we're going to do the eyeshadow. And so for eyeshadow, there's a couple of different methods, or a couple different colors I would look at. I am liking this like purplish theme. So I think what we'll do, instead of doing blue eyeshadow, like I tend to do a lot of blue eyeshadow, but now I'm going to take purple and do the exact same thing. So I'm going to take the purple, I'm going to take 1 drop of it, then I'm going to add a little bit of water, and then I'm going to scoop out some of that flesh mix, and we're going to do the eyeshadow. Okay, so a little bit of flesh mix in here, mix it up. This kind of leads to a soft purple. I'll put that on there. Okay. I'm going to load comments too, real quick. You guys have any other comments? Or if anybody wants to hop on. I mean, it's a really quiet evening. Should be fine if you wanted to hop on. That's it so far. So no other comments. I guess we can. It's totally cool with just painting here. So, and I'm going to continue to paint. All right. So eyeshadow. So when you do eyeshadow, you use the inside part of the line of the eye as a guide, and you don't want to stray. The main thing is you don't want to get too close to the nose, and you don't want to get all the way to the edge of the eye, the inside part of the eye. So here we go. That's going to look pretty subtle on Alizé here. On the podcast, they were calling her Alizé or something. Alizés. I forgot how they say it. I say Alizé because it's kind of like the French. The French would not pronounce that S on the end of it. So there we go. And let's do Betty and Lug. So here's Betty. Betty actually, she has these big bright anime eyes. So you don't want to do too much. You just want to kind of catch the edge off of the model. Also, I'll point out that not a lot of people actually notice that you've done this unless they get in really, really tight with the model. But it's really cool if you, like, I look for it on people's models, and I notice it when people have done it, and I think it's awesome. I could do blue, because blue's going to stand out a little bit more, but I'm digging this purple. Cool. Okay. So now we're just going to do more highlights with the flesh. And I'm going to go basically almost all basic skin tone. So I'm going to get a drop of basic skin tone, some water, and I'm going to scoop up that previous flesh mix and just run a dab of that in there. And this is going to be a really light color. You can keep going lighter than this, and in fact on Alizé I will continue to go lighter because that's kind of what the model looks like. So now I've got a very, very light. This is pretty much a final highlight for these guys. So this is only going to go on the very tips of things. So I'm going to do it here on the tip of Betty's nose. And I'm going to do it on the tops of her chin, of her cheeks. And you just kind of feather it down. I don't know. I don't think you can make out any of this, but trust me, when you photograph it, it does make a difference. And you know it's there. And I mean, these models have so much character to them that you want to play to that. You know, spend a little extra time on the skin and the flesh because, oh, tops of the boobs, obviously. This is a pinup model. Oh no, he's painting boobs again, said prude guy. But yeah. There we go. And then also, like around the collarbone area. Just blend in a little bit there above the collarbone. Nice. And then I'm going to just do just a slight amount, kind of catching right there, the top of her bicep, and then this top of her wrist, right there. And I'm just feathering it down so that, you know, by the time you get down to where there's not much light, so that it doesn't look completely unnatural. Okay. So there we go. There's Betty. And Suicide Queen, same thing. Top of our nose. These chicks kind of look like Barbies to me. And top of the chin. I mean, top of the cheeks. Yeah, Suicide Queen's a very fun model. Can't wait to paint up Malia. I may alternate pose, so I'm probably going to use it. I think it's kind of cool. So I will use the metal alternate pose. So there's her. Highlight the tops of the boobs. Boobage. And little tops of the muscles here. It's actually, there's a lot of light coming down on the front of her pistol arm there, so therefore you'll see a lot of highlight there. Highlighting flesh in this way, you do kind of want to be a bit precise, and again, you really need the paint to flow. You don't want this stuff crusting up on you. So thin, thin, thin. If you're just joining the show, welcome to Play It Painted Live. Let us know what you're painting or what you should be painting. If you guys have any specific questions or anything, let me know. And it can be about anything. We're just going to, you know, you guys are, I know the guys watching right now, you guys are regular viewers, and I super, super appreciate that. So ask me anything, man. Let's just paint and chat. And then we'll go load comments. Ooh, that's a little bit of too hard of a line there. So I'm gonna blend it. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's load comments. No additional comments. We're just gonna keep going. We'll just keep on trucking. Totally fine. All right, let's do Alizé. I think they were calling her Alizace, but I'm pretty sure it's a French pronunciation here. Now you notice, I don't think you could make this out on my camera, but I'm going big on this final, on what is the final highlight for the other two models. I'm going big here because this is not, for me, for Alizé, this will not be her final highlight. This will actually be closer to her base color. on her flesh. And I'm going to cut down her eyeshadow a bit because it was a bit much. It was a bit broad, the strokes, I should say. You know what? I'm super hungry. I don't know why. I mean, I had plenty to eat tonight. It's just annoying. So two things you shouldn't do when you're painting is you shouldn't be hungry and you shouldn't be drinking caffeine, and I'm doing both. 'Cause awesome. Yeah, I missed Eldorado. Glad I'm painting some Eldorado right now. Very cool. Okay, there we go. All right. And I think I'm gonna put her away for now because I can the other parts of her of highlighting her flesh I can do at a later time. So I'm actually gonna put her away and continue to work on Relic Knights. She's looking pretty good so far though. Kind of a macabre looking miniature. So put her away. And let's continue on with these two. So the good news is the flesh is just about done. Maybe one little additional layer of highlight. Nice. Yeah, I like it. I like it. All right, and so now we're going to go in with the next major color, and this is going to be over most of the model. Water here. I don't know why I called my Diet Coke water. But anyway, I need one of my go-to colors for this type of work, and that is Vallejo Model Color Black Gray. So this is actually going to be my black, and we'll use this on all of these models that I'm painting tonight. So we're going to squeeze a lot of this stuff out and mix it up. So on lug, it's going to form the bulk of the bordering detail work here. Also the kind of the tops of these battery cells, or whatever you want to call them. And then even in between the legs and the bottom, we'll have more of this black gray. So I'll paint in here. And just fill in this part. And I'm going to paint these. Just give old Lug here some character. I think this is seriously one of the most awesome robot models I think I've seen for any game. I just love this model. So good. And painting him was fun, considering the vast majority of him is airbrush. Okay. And then he's got kind of a stripe here. So I'm going to paint in this stripe. It's like almost like a racing border. What I like about this scheme is it reminds me of the Bruce Lee Game of Death bodysuit that Bruce Lee wears. And then obviously they pay homage to that in Kill Bill. So what's her name? Beatrix Kiddo or the bride, um, the Uma Thurman character, wears this at the end of the first Kill Bill Volume 1, when she fights like 100 of the Crazy 88, the Yakuza. And that was a homage to Bruce Lee, which is kind of cool. So, a couple of racing stripes here. He's got some on his gloves. Ooh. Okay. And there. Never been great at painting and bordering. And you don't, especially the way I painted this model, I don't have much room to screw up because I don't have a great way to touch up once you've airbrushed and inked. But, that's what you pay. That's the price that you pay for, those two things, allowing you to cover the model faster. So your touch-up is going to kind of suck. Okay. And that said, man, Lug is such a cool model. Such a cool model. Super fun. Can't wait to put him on the board and play some games with Lug here. Now, I'm not going to highlight these stripes either because I think they look fantastic the way they are. And I don't want to diminish this dark contrast I have going here. So much of this model is flat from the airbrushing that I had to try to correct for that with my inking. So I'm going to leave those in. Also going to paint the knees here, the black. I believe that's how it's done on the. I mean, I'm not copying the studio scheme to the T, but I do like that yellow and black contrast that they did for these models. I'm telling you, let's finish this one, and then you guys can tell me if you think I should do the entire faction this way, because I'm kind of, man, it just looks cool. I'm kind of really leaning to that. That would mean I have to repaint the Pacer, I know, but that's not the end of the world. Pacer would be just like painting one of these. You just airbrush the entire thing and you're done. It's not that big a deal. A limited color palette for that super fast faction would also be cool. But yeah, the downside is I already have Doctrine that's kind of this color, and I try to work in the primary Esper color for the faction. So it would look horrible if I tried to introduce green to this color scheme. I just don't think it would work. So there we go. Got that in. Paint it a little bit of where the leg meets the body there. I'm gonna paint that black gray. There we go. Okay, and this guy is almost done. I'm going to paint in this border here. And in fact, Betty has a very limited color palette too. So once I put her black bordering down, she's almost done. I think from there, it's just a touch up on the orange, because I got to retouch up her orange, that orangey yellow, and then yeah, and do her hair, and that's about it for her. She's on her way, and then it's just Suicide Queen. So we're doing okay for these 3 models. Probably should have sprayed Rollo too, so I could have had Rollo done, but it slipped my mind the other night when I was just spraying these, because I was spraying these and having so much fun with this color scheme that I kind of forgot to do the dog. Okay. So what do you think? Pretty cool, huh? Oh, he's got a couple of vents down here that should be black also. There we go. And here. Cool. Nice and bright looking model there. Let me reload comments here real quick. Corey Briggs, how was your day today? It was a long day, man. Oh, Minutes on the Sun. What up, dog? Glad I caught you live this week. Cool model you're painting there. Thanks, man. Again, more Relic Knights, dude. Relic Knights is super fun to paint and to play. Alright, so let's work on Suicide Queen's bike. I'm just going to paint in simple stuff. Handlebars. And I'll paint the stripes black also. Black-gray, to be precise. These bikes are pretty cool. So Suicide Queen has this bike, and it's basically the same bike that the Hell's Bells have. It's just got a little bit extra. It's got a couple extra fins on the side of it, but otherwise totally the same. Okay, and let's paint in these stripes. Ooh, this brush's tip is going out on it. I'm going to use a finer brush here just to give me a little bit better control. So Minutes on the Sun, what are you working on, dude? And tell us about your baby. Tell us how your baby's doing. Also, you can just hop on if you want. I'll just toss you an invite. Let me know. All right. So yeah, the plan for the rest of the year is going to be really just run some of these events. We may be just looking at store events for the rest of the year, but there's not going to be too many, at least that I'm running, because the end of the year is a little tougher for me. My son's birthday is in October, which is kind of cool. So we're going to throw his first birthday party for him, and 1-year-old birthdays are kind of boring if you don't have kids or if you're not in a couple. So I don't blame my friends if they'd end up not showing, or at least some of the single guys. I'd say the single dudes, go ahead and enjoy your day gaming or whatever it is you want to do that day. But those of us who have wives and kids, it would be great if you could show up for that. So we're calling the birthday tentatively Octoberfest, because that's his name, and it's October, and it's funny. And my name is Octave also, so it works out. Oktoberfest, and I'm going to wear some lederhosen, and my son we already got him some, and my wife is going to dress up as like the beer maiden, and it's going to be funny. Is it a little weird that birthday party is kind of Oktoberfest beer related? Probably. Will somebody be offended by that? Probably. But you know what? To each their own, man. If you like it, cool. If not, it's okay also. Sweet. Thing looks like a jet ski that's been It's about to do an flip end over end here. And a little bit of black here. But yeah. Okay. Oh, wait. Gotta paint the petals too. There we go. Oh, and there's a racing strip along the bottom. Glad I'm not rushing this, right? Because I would have totally forgot about that or overlooked it and been like, damn, I should have painted that. Catch that strip along the bottom. Once again, thanks for joining in for Play It Painted Live. Let us know what you're painting or what you should be painting. I am just rambling and painting up my Relic Knights stuff, which really isn't that different from last week. I think I was also rambling and painting Relic Knights stuff. Maybe that is in fact the format of this show. Occasionally, you might pick up a tip or find out about a game or an event nearby. And for those of you guys that benefit in terms of painting during this show, either watching it live or catching it later, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for tuning in and hopefully getting something out of it. Now, I know when I paint stuff, I want to have something running in the background. Podcasts are fantastic for that, so let me plug Total Command, the Eldorado Hobbycast again, because that's a really good one. And then also let me plug a different one for you guys that play a bunch of other games. Check out Combat Phase and my friend Robert Allen, who runs that podcast. They talk about some GW stuff, which, you know, I'm not a GW guy, but some of you guys out there are. So they talk about that, and they talk about a lot of other stuff that's going on in gaming. And about Extra Life and you know, their charity stuff. Really cool group of guys on Combat Phase, and it's worth a listen. If you guys are doing live shows, I want to watch it too. If you do live feeds of your building or painting or anything like that, I'm interested in that because I like to have your guys' stuff on while I'm doing painting and not doing my own streaming. So anyway, there's that. Let's go move over to Betty here. Looks like Betty's got a few patches of black on her knee pads. Did I mention how cool I think this model is? I do think she's cool. Actually, before I really get too heavily invested in painting her parts black, let's reload comments and see where people are at. What do you think? Some of you guys might have put a comment in and you're like, when the hell is you going to see that comment? Sometimes they come in late. Sometimes they lag. I apologize for that. Let's see. Wow. It says there. Oh, baby is good. I'm waiting for him to wake up for a snack and building some terrain. He's 2 months old this weekend. Got some good pics on Facebook. I gotta find you. Yeah, friend me, dude. My name on Facebook is Octavius Villar, Villar, and it shouldn't be hard to type in Octavius. I'm sure there's not too many of us running around Facebook. So yeah, find me on Facebook, man, and you'll see some of the other stuff that I'm regularly. Some of the Facebook groups that I am part of, some of which I admin, some of the groups that I've formed myself, and I do a lot of that during the day. I don't really use Facebook for much social stuff. I do once in a while. Like you'll catch some pictures of me and my kid or my wife, which are cool. But a lot of times you'll just see me posting about games or what events we have going on. And yeah, head over to my page, Play It Painted, and give that a like. That would be cool. Listen to me whore my shit out. Pretty funny. Pretty funny. Whoring my shit out. Okay. Looks like she's got a... Oh, okay. So the bottom of her suit here is kind of a black. So right here in the border. Yeah, Betty's kind of awesome. How many times am I going to say that tonight? I don't know. Hopefully not too many more times. That might be the friend request. I will check in a minute. Since I'm done painting this this black in, and I'm going to paint a black stripe running down this way. I don't know if you're supposed to do that or not, but I'm going to do it for my Betty model. And I'm going to paint her belt black. She's just going to be, she's going to be, Kill Bill, Bruce Lee style. Suicide Queen will have a bit more colors to her, but not Betty. I want to keep Betty pretty much right matching with Lug. So that's cool. So, and that also means that she's almost done, which is awesome. Okay. And now, when I first started painting female miniatures, I just thought I sucked at it, and I probably did. When I first started painting miniatures, I was painting Ral Partha stuff for D&D, and I'd paint a wizard or a barbarian or an elf or a dwarf, that kind of stuff. But I never really painted very many female models, and at the time, it was like, well, I feel kind of weird painting a female model. I don't know why I felt weird about it, but it was like, oh, I got to paint in boobs, and I'm going to shade buttocks and all that kind of stuff. Now it's like, I feel weird if I'm painting a bunch of just male models. I don't know. Because army guys and stuff like for Saga and shit, that's kind of cool, and I'm down with that. And I've been painting a bit of Saga lately, getting ready for that event. But now it's like I want to paint more of this stuff. I love this stuff. Real sleek models, smooth features. There's a lot of scrutiny on getting females their facial features right, their skin right, and I don't know. I love it. Some people hate it and are intimidated by it, and I hated it, and I was also intimidated by it, but I just kept doing it, and that's how I kind of taught myself to really enjoy this kind of stuff. And it's the same approach I took to like painting white and yellow and all that stuff that a lot of other folks that try to shy away from. So she's moving along quite nicely here, Miss Betty. Because she's really not going to require much else. Once I finished getting her black details down. Just going to paint her hair, I suppose. Which I do need to paint her hair. I think I'll stay blonde with her. I think that's the color her hair is in the model, in the art. So I'll stay blonde with her. You can see her hair is already kind of blonde, and that was from the airbrushing. So that helps. Okay, let's reload comments here. Oh, I gotta do her boots too. Do that in a minute. Okay, doesn't look like any additional comments. Gonna confirm that. Thanks, dude, for the friend request. We're gonna keep painting here. So yeah, how does that go? It just looks like just the bottom of her shoes are black, but there's no doesn't seem to be any border here to hit. Odd, but let's just do it. It makes it easier for me anyway. That's just odd. Maybe they airbrushed it up and like that, and like whatever, left it. Possible. But no, there seems to be a shin guard or some area where the black part of the boot stops. I just don't see it on my model. I mean, I guess I could paint in kind of an arbitrary border here. Try to make it like even. There we go. Okay. Sure, why not? Looks cool. Oh, Betty also has a pair of goggles. So I'm going to paint those in black and leave the lenses for now because I'll come back and paint a little bit of blue in the lenses. There we go. You could also paint green lenses for whatever color you want, but I'm just going to paint blue lenses. Pretty cool. Okay, so there's that. Suicide Queen, up next. She is, I'm going to give her black pants. What color is her hair? Suicide Queen is kind of an orange-haired chick. So I'll give her black pants and black belt. And I'll leave these knee pads kind of that orange. It's kind of cool. And I'll also leave like the streamer stuff orange. And then we'll paint her belts like brown, I guess. Suicide Queen is kind of cool, kind of a cool model. You couldn't get her through you can't get her in retail right now. And she's the Cersei starter set that came with the Kickstarter is different than the one that they're selling in retail now. It's very different. In fact, I need to go get the one from retail because I want to get Marie Claude and I want to get another Royal Wrecker and another Pit Crew. So see how that's pretty simple. Suicide Queen can be like this. So I'm working with a limited palette on these models. And it's really just so that this orange really pops. Because I want it to kind of scream. Because it's a cool orange. So there you have it. A little bit of Suicide Queen there. Now, her bike is kind of upended. So you might be wondering, how does she actually fit on her bike with it being upended like that? It's actually a pretty cool pose, and I'm getting a little excited about putting her in there. I'm going to do that here in a minute. Oh. First, I got to do a little touch up on this orange. Cool. Oh, by the way, Minutes on the Sun. How is that? Have you done any more work with Viv? I saw that he lately has been casting stuff for his Pillow a Go-Go game, for bringing that back. I'm excited to try that. I think that's cool. I want to play something ridiculous and silly like that. So yeah, how is that going? Let us know. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to send you this Hangout link so that if you want, you can come hang out. There you go. I'm going to reload comments on YouTube, see how we're doing. I know we're almost at the 2-hour mark, but I did start late, so I'm going to give you guys a little bit more painting here as part of our session. All right. So there we go. Yeah, pretty cool. What color is her? What color is that? The like vest part. I think I should make that brown. Brown or maybe like blue, like a blue jean. Maybe. Let's try. Why not? Yeah, let's try it. So let's do. So we're gonna make like a denim, right? So here's my formula for super quick denim. If I can find the color. It's always the hardest part of this process, isn't it? Okay, so for doing denim, like a faded denim, I use this Vallejo model color Azure. So I'm going to put Azure down. I'm going to use it, since I've got it out and I'm lazy, I'm going to use it a couple of different places. Actually, no, I'll just use it here on, I'll just use it here on her vesty thing. So there's not actually going to be, the only orange that's going to be left is her hair and the knee pads, I guess. So I want her to, oh shoot, that was bad. Accidentally got a little blue there on her face. So to wipe it out. Okay, looks like I'm gonna have to come back and do a little touch up on the face. Not the end of the world. I just slipped a little bit painting that, and it happens, you know. Doesn't matter how long you've been painting or for how many thousands of models you might have painted. Stuff like that's just gonna happen. Not the end of the world. You can actually can't even tell that that happened, but I'm gonna touch up her face anyway. I think I've got, yeah, I still have enough of that mix down so I can actually touch up with the exact paint that I need, and then scale it up to towards a basic skin tone, and I'm good. And then we're good. Okay. So this Suicide Queen is oh, she has a, and then she has this weird, she has a bone in her hand. That's for Rollo. It's kind of cool. Rollo is her cipher, like a dog with a. Here, I'll show. I don't know if you can make it out unpainted, but it's a dog with a Kaiser hat. So that's. I'll just airbrush that dog. It's not going to take very much time at all to finish that dog. Just airbrush the dog, paint the details in, the eyes and the details on the hat, do a little shading on the hat, paint the base, and that dog is done. All right. And then, so for denim, all I do is I paint this azure in, let the azure dry, then I hit it with a wash. You can either use Army Painter's blue wash, you can use Vallejo's blue wash, in which case you want a thin, or you can just use the Citadel wash. They're all about the same in this regard, and they're all going to give you that effect of kind of a faded denim, and that's what we're going for here on her. Okay, let's get a little brown going. I want, because I want to do the leather belts. I'm going to do a chocolate brown because I want it to be a richer brown. I normally go with a beige brown here, but I think that for her, I want the colors contrast to be a little bit stronger. So I'm going to go chocolate brown. So we're moving right along. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the rest of this, painting the rest of this faction, because I think it's really cool. This might have been a mistake. This brown is really, really dark. So everything's kind of running together here with the with the black gray pants. I'll highlight it. There we go. Okay, and the shoes also this brown. Yeah, it's just not. It's not going to show up as a different color on a lot of photographs, but you know it is. So I don't know. Gotta love it, man. There. And I forgot to paint her her gloves. That's okay. Still do that. Do black gloves. So let me, since you guys are watching and this show has gotten pretty quiet lately, let me share with you guys kind of broader scope what I've been working on, what I'm looking at. So Play It Painted does its convention shows and all that. And we volunteer for Ninja, and we're running a Saga event and all that stuff. And where is all this leading? Well, right now, to be honest with you, all we're really trying to do is just continue to enjoy our events for fun. And if a player base develops or a fan base develops, then that's fine. If not, we don't even care. It's cool enough that we have this little logo, and we get to play with it by putting it on shit, giving away that stuff, and just having fun. If it does develop into more than that, then that's more of kind of a bonus, That said, we do really want to strive to maintain quality in certain things. For example, our convention show. It's a big deal for us to. We take pride in working these conventions and being able to provide quality gaming experiences for folks. So we will try to uphold some standards with regards to our convention show. We will have some requirements for people that want to help us out at those shows. It's not like, I don't think that those requirements are really any different than anybody else that would ask you that you would want to get a free ticket from and run gaming at a show. Stuff like know the game and have some materials. And in our case, we would maybe tack on the additional requirement that we would want our miniature gaming materials to be all painted. But other than that, man, not a whole lot else to talk about here. All right, so let's get a deep yellow color that we can use, that we can paint in. Ooh, that's a golden yellow. That might actually work in terms of a highlight. Yeah, this would. Ooh, no, that's not going to work. Okay, that's not going to work. Let's do. Here's my deep yellow. Definitely not. Flat yellow. Probably also a little too rich, but I'm going to try it. Gotta try it. Yeah, I'm actually going to mix it with a little bit of clear orange till we get to the right color. Ooh, whoa, that's not working out. Get me an orange that works. Here's a bright orange. This will probably work. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to mix that, get that to the right highlight color, and use it to touch up Betty here. Pretty cool though. What do you guys think, man? Stuff looks kind of cool. All right, so there we go. That's exactly the color we want. Nice. That worked out quite well. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to touch up here on Betty. And I will even touch up here. It's kind of almost like a warning yellow color. Pretty damn cool though. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm going to need a flat yellow to actually do the other part here. But yeah, that's cool. That's what I wanted. All right. So I can actually use this to highlight the pads on Suicide Queen and the knee pads and the little streamers. There we go. Cool. And I'm going to just give her a little bit of a highlight there with that. Nice. And I actually need to drop some flat yellow here as a highlight for Betty's hair. Because I want Betty to be a kind of a brighter blonde. There we go. So a little highlight in the hair there for Betty. Telling you, these models are super fun to paint. Super fun. Dude, Minutes on the Sun, checking out your Facebook page, T. Got a great looking family, man. You guys are awesome. Super happy for you. one of these days, our kids are going to get big enough. We're going to have to get them together, do a little kiddie play date, and then we can game, we can model too. I think that'd be awesome. Maybe Q here in the front of my house or something like that. I think that'd be great. If we could somehow afford to fly Viv out here and Nick, let's do that too. I don't know. Maybe we need to do a Kickstarter or something like that. Just to have a California barbecue, or hell, we can go to Australia too and do the barbecue over there if you want. I would not be opposed to that. That sounds kind of cool. I think Viv would not be opposed to that either. And my wife has family in Australia too, so actually her family they're located not too far from, I don't know if you know him, Canvas. You know Canvas 01 on YouTube? My wife's family is pretty close to where he's at. So that would also be quite cool. Okay, so there's her. And she's almost done. Now we got to do Suicide Queen. And we got to just do a couple of washes here. We're just about done, though. I mean, let me reload comments. Uh, 20 comments, okay. I'm going to get off and finish anything but the lips of the bases. I'll post a pic tomorrow. Thanks, man. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, Corey. Hope good luck at Saugust. I will definitely see you there. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Justin Borges hopped on. I'm late, but I made it. Let's get painting. Hey, dude, I saw you're working on some bolt action. Awesome. Dude, you pick great games. I don't play bolt action, but I've always been kind of... It's another one that's kind of intrigued me. I just wish I had time to play everything to collect and play everything that I want to. If you know what I mean, and I'm sure you do. And do a little touch up here on Suicide Queen's face. Because I accidentally nicked it with some of that azure blue from earlier. You can't even really tell, but I'll do it anyway. Cool. Okay. So here's the denim trick. So we're gonna go with no, that's wrong. Oh, here's okay. Drakenhof Nightshade. Put that on. And then if you want to, you actually highlight with a little bit of gray, and that fades out the denim a bit. You have to be very careful with this being so close to flesh. You want to control where this wash is actually going, and you definitely don't want it to pool. There we go. Cool. I'm just using it as a, a little shade or a filter here. And it works out pretty well. Okay, so there's that. I'll come back in, hit it with a quick highlight of the same color, azure. And I'm also going to take some Seraphim Sepia here. Oh wait, before I do that, I need to paint in the bone. So I'm going to paint in the bone color for Rollo's bone. I was like, yeah, we're almost done. And I forgot a couple things, but again, it's not the end of the world. So we stay up a little bit later. Not that big a deal. Right? Because Justin hopped on, so cool. Okay, so painting in Rollo's bone. Okay, she's going to play some fetch with her dog. Let that dry for a minute. I'm actually going to take this time to do a little more electric blue on the control panel of her bike. It's not going to be very much at all, but just enough to, it's little stuff like that. If anybody's looking down at the gauges, you don't want to have a completely blank readout. So, blue there. There we go. Again, nothing fancy. And in fact, the rest of this I can pretty much do with her on the bike. So I'm going to just glue her to the bike now. So I'm going to break her off here. Break her off this cork base. Just a little bit of, it's really just the tiniest little bead of glue that was keeping her on there. I'm going to clip the bit of cork that came off with her. And obviously I would need to touch up the shoes. Okay, cool. So a little bit of glue. Let's put her on there. And we are on our way. We are looking pretty good. Whoa. Okay, so, and you get to see how she actually fits on this thing, which is kind of wild. There we go. Check it out. So she's kind of leaning on the bike here, like standing on it, and she's got her gun in this like gangster pose here. I don't know. I think it campy, yes, but is it awesome? Also, yes. Little highlight on the denim vest thingy that I painted for her. I don't know, man. What do you guys think? Should I do all the Circe like that, or should I go back to my mix of pink and green for the rest of them? Malia is typically pink. That's the Relic Knight. But I would not be opposed to doing a completely alternate scheme for them. So much fun, man. All right. So that should be dry enough. I'm going to go with a Seraphim Sepia here, which is going to cover her ruddy hair, and it's going to cover the bone. So I'm just going to give a little shade wash into her hair and the bone. And then I'm going to highlight the bone again. With that Iraqi sand once this dries. Sweet. Okay, pretty freaking cool, man. Pretty cool. All right. Now let's paint in the black lips around the bases because we are basically done. And then I can photograph these and post them up. I don't. Let's see. Show you Betty. Not a whole lot you can actually make out on this YouTube feed, so sorry about that. Suicide Queen. almost done. And last but not least, Mr. Lug. Lug is so much fun. Finished him a while ago. Actually, I am not finished with him. I need to do one quick little highlight on the little battery caps. So I'm going to add a little bit of white to my black gray. Actually, I'm not even going to do that. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take a mid gray here, a basalt gray, and just use that to give it a highlight. It's a faster thing. It's not the most precise blend up, and a lot of times I prefer to blend up, but let's just move this along. It's getting kind of late, and I want to try to get some shut-eye. Like, we know what that is, right? Minutes on the Sun? My son was having a little trouble sleeping tonight. That's part of the reason why I was late to start the show. But again, my wife is so cool. She realized that tonight was the night of the show, and she's like, just go. I'll take care of little guy. That's a good wife, man. Shout out to my wife. Really sweet lady. Really understanding. She puts up with my bullshit. I want to paint stuff, paint toys, and play Relic Knights at the store, and she's totally cool with that. Alright. There we go. Okay, put some black down, and let's paint the rest of these. Oh, wait. Well, I got it. Let's do the bone highlight. Final highlight on the bone is going to be off-white. So pretty simple bone structure there. Iraqi sand, seraphim sepia, Iraqi sand, bone white. And there you go. It's like, it is getting late for people because I'm seeing either I've bored everyone to tears or people are going to bed. Probably a little bit of both going on there. Okay. A bit of water here. Yeah, these are freaking awesome models though, for real. Can't wait to paint the rest of this Cersei stuff. Get it going. I like it. I like it. There we go. Alright. Now let's do our black. And we are done, skis. Fantastic. Want to thank everyone for watching. I know tonight's show is pretty mellow, laid back, but you know what? It's good to do shows like this once in a while. Things are about to get a little active here for the next couple of weeks. I'm going to post these photos on my Instagram, on the Play It Painted page, and wherever else. You guys can look at them and let me know. Do you think I should continue with this scheme for the rest of the faction, or if I should just try to stick to more of the green pink thing I was thinking of? Let's see. Wow, a lot more comments came in. Sorry, guys. Let's see. Man, every time I see your Relic Knight stuff, I get the urge to open my own and get them started soon. Right. It gets easier, guys. I've got a 3-year-old and a 1.5-year-old's in trouble sleeping. Might mean growing. Measure him in the morning. Thanks for that. I hope he is growing. Alright. Yes. Oh, wait. Well, I'm off to see Sin City 2. Okay, see you, Troy. Thanks for the show. Got a little more work done on Lug. Should finish him and Betty up tomorrow. And then John, Minutes on the Sun. We're definitely going to have to meet up someday, maybe soon, because we have no friends here. I love driving down there, and I think it's only a little over 2-hour drive. I think it's, well, Orange County might be a little bit more of a drive, but dude, we can meet in LA. We can try to get meet somewhere a little bit closer to both of us. I think that'd be awesome. Yeah, we can play. I'll teach you Relic Knights or something. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, just good to be up and painting, and man, these models are freaking cool. I just love it. I love this Betty model. I love the Blug model. This is what I've been waiting for Relic Knights. I painted all those other factions, and they're cool. You know, No is cool, and Doctrine and all that. Shattered Sword is cool, but man, Cersei has me. Look at this. That is, they are the coolest, in my opinion. They are the aesthetic that appeals to me the most. I don't know if their playstyle will, but their aesthetic is freaking awesome. Alright, so all I'm doing is painting this boring black stuff in. I'm going to go ahead, and since it looks like a lot of us dropped out, I'm going to go ahead and end the feed here. I want to thank you guys for hopping on and watching, and you know, just throwing out a little bit of friendly conversation here while we paint. Please be on the lookout for some of these photos, and let me know. Again, let me know what you think. Should I do the rest of my faction this way, or should I go back to the green and pink? So that's it for this show. Thanks everybody for watching, and we will catch you on the next one.